In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across a velvet canvas, the galactic fleet celebrated a hard-won victory. The remnants of the Zarkonian Armada, once a formidable force that had terrorized countless star systems, now lay in disarray, their ships drifting aimlessly like forgotten toys in a cosmic playground. The fleet's flagship, the Elysium, gleamed under the light of a nearby sun, its hull reflecting the triumph of its crew. Captain Elara Voss stood on the bridge, her heart swelling with pride as she surveyed the jubilant faces of her crew. They had fought valiantly, and now they were basking in the glory of their success. Yet, amidst the celebrations, a peculiar tension hung in the air. Elara, a seasoned commander with a reputation for her strategic brilliance, sensed something was amiss. The crew's laughter echoed through the corridors, but her instincts told her that the universe had a way of throwing curveballs, especially when one least expected it. As she turned to her first officer, Lieutenant Jax Thorne, she raised an eyebrow. "You feel that too, don't you? Like the calm before a storm." Jax, a tall, rugged man with a penchant for sarcasm, leaned against the console, arms crossed. "What, you mean the impending doom? Or just the fact that we're out of synth coffee again? Because I'm pretty sure that's the real crisis here." Elara chuckled, but her laughter was short-lived. Just then, the ship sensors blared an alarm, cutting through the revelry like a knife. The bridge crew snapped to attention, their faces shifting from joy to concern. "Captain, we're detecting an unknown fleet approaching at high speed," reported Ensign Mira, her fingers dancing over the control panel. "They're not broadcasting any identification signals." Elara's heart raced. "On screen," she commanded, her voice steady despite the rising tension. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a formation of sleek, menacing ships that glided through space like predators stalking their prey. The insignia emblazoned on their hulls sent a chill down her spine. It was the emblem of Earth's Dreadnoughts, a fleet that had been rumored to be in development for years but had never been seen in action. "Earth's Dreadnoughts? I thought they were just a myth," Jax muttered, his usual bravado faltering. "What are they doing here?" Elara's mind raced. The Dreadnoughts were said to be equipped with advanced technology and weaponry that could rival anything the Galactic Fleet had. If they were here to claim victory over the Zarkonian remnants, it could spell disaster for her crew. "Prepare for battle stations," she ordered, her voice firm. "We need to assess their intentions." As the crew scrambled to their posts, Elara felt a mix of dread and determination. She had led her crew through countless battles, but this was different. The Dreadnoughts were a wild card, and their sudden appearance threatened to overshadow the fleet's hard-earned victory. She glanced at Jax, who was already tapping into the ship's communication systems. "Let's see if we can establish contact before things get out of hand." "Good luck with that," Jax replied, his fingers flying over the console. "They're jamming our signals. It's like they don't want to talk." Elara's frustration bubbled beneath the surface. "Of course they don't. They probably think they can just waltz in here and take over. We need to show them that the Galactic Fleet won't back down." Just then, the view screen flickered again, and a figure appeared, clad in a sleek, dark uniform adorned with the insignia of the Dreadnoughts. The face was obscured by a helmet, but the voice was clear and commanding. "This is Commander Rhea of the Earth Dreadnought Fleet. We have come to claim this sector in the name of Earth. Surrender your ships and prepare for inspection." Elara's jaw tightened. "Commander Rhea, this is Captain Elara Voss of the Galactic Fleet. We have just defeated the Zarkonian Armada and are in no position to surrender. We will defend our territory." Rhea's laughter echoed through the comms, cold and mocking. "Defend? You think you can stand against the might of the Dreadnoughts? You are outmatched, Captain. Stand down, or face the consequences." Elara felt a surge of anger. "We will not back down. We've fought too hard for this victory to let it slip away now." The tension in the air was palpable as the two commanders faced off across the void of space. Elara could feel the weight of her crew's expectations on her shoulders. They had fought with courage and determination, and she couldn't let them down now. As the comms went silent, the bridge buzzed with anxious energy. The crew exchanged worried glances, their earlier celebration now a distant memory. Elara took a deep breath, her mind racing to formulate a plan. "Jax, what do we know about their capabilities?" she asked, her voice steady despite the chaos swirling in her mind. Jax's fingers flew over the console, pulling up data on the Dreadnoughts. "They're equipped with advanced shielding and weaponry, Captain. Their energy cannons can penetrate most conventional defenses. If they decide to engage, we'll be in serious trouble." Ilara nodded, her mind churning. "We need to buy ourselves some time. Can we create a diversion? Something to throw them off their game?" Jax's eyes lit up with a spark of mischief. "What if we simulate a malfunction in our engines? We could make it look like we're drifting helplessly. They might lower their guard, thinking we're an easy target." Ilara considered the idea. It was risky, but it might just work. "Do it. But make sure we're ready to spring into action the moment they approach. We can't let them think we're truly vulnerable." As Jax began to implement the plan, Ilara turned to the rest of the crew. "Listen up, everyone. We're going to play a little game of cat and mouse. I need all of you to stay sharp and be ready for anything. We're not going down without a fight." The crew rallied, their spirits lifting as they prepared for the unexpected. Ilara felt a surge of pride as she watched them spring into action, their determination igniting a fire within her. They were a family, and she would do everything in her power to protect them. Moments later, the Elysium began to drift, its engine sputtering as Jax expertly manipulated the systems. The view screen displayed the Dreadnoughts drawing closer, their sleek forms gliding through space like sharks circling their prey. Ilara's heart raced as she watched Commander Ria's ship approach, its imposing silhouette growing larger. "Now, Jax!" Ilara commanded, her voice sharp. "Activate the emergency distress signal. Let's make it look convincing." Jax pressed a series of buttons, and the ship's alarms blared, filling the bridge with a cacophony of sound. The crew exchanged nervous glances, but Ilara held her ground, her eyes fixed on the view screen. The Dreadnoughts were closing in, their weapons primed and ready. "Commander Ria, this is Captain Voss," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos. "We're experiencing a critical failure. We're unable to maneuver. We request assistance." Ria's voice crackled through the comms, laced with skepticism. "You expect me to believe that? You're trying to trick us, Captain. Prepare to be boarded." Ilara's heart sank, but she refused to show weakness. "We're not trying to trick you. We're in a vulnerable position. If you want to take us, now is your chance." The Dreadnoughts slowed their approach, and Ilara could see the crew on Ria's ship moving into position. "Prepare to board," Ria ordered, her voice cold and commanding. "Jax, get ready," Ilara whispered, her heart pounding. "As soon as they come aboard, we'll spring our trap." The crew held their breath as the Dreadnoughts docked with the Elysium. Ilara could hear the sound of airlocks sealing, the tension in the air thick enough to cut with a knife. She glanced at Jax, who nodded, his expression serious. "On my mark," Ilara said, her voice low. "We'll take them by surprise." The airlock hissed open, and a group of heavily armed Dreadnought soldiers stepped through, their armor gleaming ominously. Ilara's heart raced as she signaled to her crew. "Now!" In an instant, the crew of the Elysium sprang into action. They had set up a series of traps and barricades, using the ship's layout to their advantage. The Dreadnought soldiers were caught off guard, stumbling into the carefully laid ambush. Ilara fought alongside her crew, her heart pounding as she engaged in hand-to-hand combat with one of the soldiers. "Is this the best Earth has to offer?" she taunted, dodging a punch and countering with a swift kick that sent the soldier sprawling. "I expected more from a Dreadnought." Jax was nearby, taking down another soldier with a well-placed strike. "I think they're just as surprised as we are, Captain," he shouted, a grin on his face, as he ducked under a wild swing and retaliated with a quick jab to the soldier's midsection. The bridge of the Elysium had transformed into a battleground, the sounds of combat echoing through the corridors as the crew fought valiantly against the invading Dreadnought soldiers. Ilara felt a surge of adrenaline as she moved through the chaos, her instincts guiding her. She had trained for moments like this, but nothing could prepare her for the sheer intensity of the fight. The Dreadnoughts were well trained, their movements precise and coordinated, but the crew of the Elysium had something they didn't: the element of surprise and a fierce determination to protect their home. "Push them back!" Elara shouted, rallying her crew. "We can't let them take control of the ship." The crew responded with renewed vigor, their spirits bolstered by Elara's words. They fought as a unit, using their knowledge of the ship's layout to outmaneuver the Dreadnoughts. Elara spotted Mira, who was holding her own against two soldiers, her agility allowing her to dodge their attacks with ease. "Mira, flank them from the left," Elara called out, and Mira nodded, darting away to execute the plan. As the battle raged on, Elara found herself face-to-face with Commander Rhea. The Dreadnought commander was a formidable opponent, her movements fluid and precise. They exchanged blows, each strike resonating with the weight of their respective fleet's fates. Elara could see the determination in Rhea's eyes, a fierce resolve that mirrored her own. "You're a fool to think you can win this fight, Captain Voss," Rhea spat, her voice dripping with disdain. "Earth's dreadnoughts are the future of warfare. You're nothing but a relic of the past." Elara gritted her teeth, her resolve hardening. "We may be a relic, but we're not going down without a fight. You underestimate the spirit of the galactic fleet." With a swift kick, Elara knocked Rhea off balance, seizing the opportunity to grapple with her. They struggled, each woman trying to gain the upper hand, but Elara's determination fueled her strength. She could feel the tide of the battle shifting in their favor as her crew began to push the Dreadnought soldiers back. "Jax!" Elara shouted, her voice cutting through the din of battle. "We need to secure the bridge. If we can take control of the command center, we can turn their own ships against them." Jax nodded, his expression fierce. "On it, Captain. Let's show them what we're made of." With a rallying cry, Elara led her crew toward the bridge, pushing through the remaining Dreadnought soldiers. They fought with a ferocity born of desperation, each member of the crew drawing on their training and camaraderie to overcome the odds. Elara felt a surge of pride as she watched her crew work together, their movements synchronized as they fought for their ship and their home. As they reached the bridge, Elara quickly assessed the situation. The Dreadnoughts had set up a defensive perimeter, but they were clearly disoriented from the ambush. "We can't let them regroup," she shouted. "Mira, flank them from the right. Jax, cover her." The crew sprang into action, executing Elara's orders with precision. Mira darted around the side, catching the Dreadnoughts off guard as she took down two soldiers with a swift combination of strikes. Jax provided cover fire, using the ship's weapon systems to disable the Dreadnoughts' defenses. Elara seized the moment, charging into the fray. She fought with everything she had, her heart pounding as she faced Rhea once more. The two women clashed, their movements a blur as they exchanged blows. Elara could feel the weight of the battle pressing down on her, but she refused to back down. "Your fleet is nothing without its commander," Rhea taunted, her voice low and menacing. "Surrender now, and I might spare your crew." Elara's eyes narrowed. "You'll have to do better than that to intimidate me, Commander. I won't let you take my ship or my crew." With a fierce determination, Elara launched a series of strikes, her movements fueled by the adrenaline coursing through her veins. She could see the cracks in Rhea's confidence, the Dreadnought commander beginning to falter under the pressure. Elara pressed her advantage, pushing Rhea back toward the command console. Just as it seemed Elara would gain the upper hand, a loud explosion rocked the ship, sending both women sprawling to the ground. The lights flickered, and alarms blared as the Elysium shuddered under the impact. Elara quickly regained her footing, her heart racing as she scanned the bridge for her crew. The Dreadnought soldiers were momentarily disoriented, but Elara knew they wouldn't stay that way for long. She had to act fast. "Jax! Mira! Status report!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. Jax was already at the control panel, his fingers flying over the keys. "We've taken some damage, Captain. The Dreadnoughts are trying to breach our systems. If we don't regain control of the bridge soon, they'll override our defenses." Mira, still catching her breath from the earlier skirmish, nodded. "We need to disable their command systems. If we can cut off their communication, we can turn the tide of this battle." Elara's mind raced as she formulated a plan. We'll split into 2 teams. Jax, you and Mira take the left flank and disable their communication array. I'll hold off Rhea and the remaining soldiers. We need to buy you time. Are you sure, Captain? Jax asked, concern etched on his face. You'll be outnumbered. I can handle it, Illyra replied, her voice firm. We've come too far to let them take our ship. Now go. With a nod, Jax and Mira moved into position, their expressions resolute. Illyra turned her attention back to Rhea, who was slowly rising to her feet, a fierce glare in her eyes. The Dreadnought commander was clearly shaken but not defeated. Your crew is abandoning you, Captain Voss, Rhea sneered, brushing dust from her uniform. You're outnumbered and outmatched. Surrender now, and I might show you mercy. Illyra squared her shoulders, her heart pounding with determination. I'll never surrender to you, Rhea. You may have the numbers, but you'll never have the spirit of the galactic fleet. With that, Illyra charged at Rhea, their bodies colliding in a flurry of movement. The 2 women grappled fiercely, each trying to gain the upper hand. Illyra could feel the heat of the battle around her, the sounds of her crew fighting against the Dreadnoughts echoing in her ears. She had to hold her ground. Meanwhile, Jax and Mira worked quickly, their teamwork evident as they navigated the chaos of the bridge. They ducked under fire from the remaining Dreadnought soldiers, using the ship's layout to their advantage. Jax's tactical mind was in overdrive, and he quickly devised a plan to disable the communication array. Mira, cover me, he shouted, sprinting toward the control panel. I'll need a distraction. Mira nodded, her eyes scanning the room for anything she could use. Spotting a nearby console, she quickly activated the ship's emergency systems, causing alarms to blare and lights to flash. The Dreadnought soldiers were momentarily distracted, giving Jax the opening he needed. Now! Jax shouted, his fingers flying over the controls as he initiated a series of commands to disable the Dreadnought's communication systems. The screens flickered, and he could see the Dreadnought signals begin to fade. Back on the main floor, Illyra and Rhea continued their fierce struggle. Illyra could feel her muscles burning, but she refused to give in. With a swift kick, she sent Rhea stumbling back, giving her a moment to catch her breath. Your crew is losing, Captain. Rhea taunted, her voice dripping with arrogance. You're fighting a losing battle. Illyra's eyes narrowed as she pushed herself off the ground, determination flooding her veins. Not if I have anything to say about it. With renewed vigor, Illyra charged at Rhea once more, their bodies colliding in a flurry of strikes and counters. Illyra could feel the tide of the battle shifting, her crew's efforts paying off as the Dreadnoughts began to falter. She could hear Jax's voice in her mind, urging her to keep fighting. Just a little longer. Jax shouted from the control panel, his voice filled with urgency. We're almost there. Illyra seized the moment, launching a series of rapid strikes that caught Rhea off guard. With a final push, she knocked Rhea to the ground, pinning her down. It's over, Commander. Surrender, and I'll spare your crew. Rhea glared up at Illyra, her expression a mix of fury and disbelief. You think you've won? This isn't over. Illyra held her ground, her heart racing as she felt the weight of the moment. It is over. Your fleet is losing control, and you're outnumbered. Stand down and we can end.